Okay. Chat. Think you're live.
I'll be silent for a second.
Okay. Kerrigan, sound good, fellas? Sound okay? Why does it seem so slow? Oh, 10 Overlord. Good. Kerrigan's not too overwhelming, beyond your control.
Okay, say something, Adonis.
Test, yo.
Okay.
Sounds
we're
good. We still got 8 minutes. Oh.
That's fucking BM.
You had to get your repair going. There you go. Yeah. Well, you need the 2 in the front to attack and the 2 in the back to repair.
I won. Nice.
As expected.
GG, well played.
GG. God, I need to... Hear me in double. Might just be me picking up feedback again from my speakers. I can't put myself on busy. Troll's gonna spam me with stuff. Oh my god. I just have to block Troll.
He's spamming you right now?
Yeah.
What a child.
I think that'll work.
So they're sending out Void first, eh?
Yep.
Who's Steve sending out? If Balo isn't playing, then how many do we have? We have 3? Or we have 4? It's a best of 7, right?
Did he say he wasn't going to?
Let me confirm. I'll be right back. Looks like Rhodora is going out first. Bit of an odd choice.
Okay, and is Balu gonna play?
Oh god, hold on.
What? It's the whole sole reason you went down there.
Alright, so Ballo is gonna play.
Okay. Trying to get the lobby going now.
Got some pizza here. Pizza boy Faplord. Except I don't want this pepperoni. Do you guys have Domino's in the US?
Yep. Alright, I think we're getting close to starting our clan war here. Clan War 10 for Team Evolution. I am Adonis. Co-casting with me today is the legendary Threestep. So, how are you doing today, Threestep?
Pretty good, just enjoying some pre-game pizza, and I'm pretty excited for this clan war. We got some good players from both teams, some solid lineups.
Very good, very good. It's going to be a ZVT on Neoplanet S. We're going to get the game started here. Both players are ready. And today we're going to be battling against Team Exile, or Exile Gaming, if you will. First time we had a clan war with them. I'm hoping it's just going to be, you know, good manners, good friendly clan war all around. And, yeah, we'll see how it goes here. We 2vZ on Neoplanet S. Now, going into this, I can already feel like, you know, it's a hard place to figure out where to take your third. It's going to be very situational, and you know, we'll just have to see what these players decide.
I do think, you know, when HOTS first came out and when Pro League started and people are looking at this map, they were thinking it was absolutely terrible. You don't know which third to take. But I think it's been over a month now, and people have started to settle down. You know, certain units aren't as terrible or hard to deal with anymore, and the same goes for the third on this map. It is, you know, there in other maps it is a little easier to take a third, but once again, I think with the time that has passed, it is a little easier once you get some experience and time put in on this map.
Absolutely. At first glance, you know, I can tell you playing the beta, this map was just atrocious. But I do agree with you, Zerg players do kind of get used to it. And surprisingly enough, I haven't seen too many games where the Terran sort of abuses that high yield in the center. It's just a very hard position to hold, and it being on the low ground, it doesn't seem like a very popular strategy that Terrans are willing to take the risk for. So, and also, you know, game duration, being that these positions are just so close to each other and it's always a very tight and tense situation to be in, it just seems that, you know, that risk is just way too much versus the advantages that it may provide.
Yeah, when it comes to taking that gold base, it's a little tricky. You know, Terran, you can planetary it, but then again, you do have two sides that can be attacked from, and it's going to be very difficult to wall off. If you have your third, obviously you're going to take that gold base as the fourth, and you know, while you're trying to defend your fourth, you could be having Ling run-bys at your third. But I think TVZ on this map, it's very hard to deal with Widow Mines because there's really only two areas to attack from, and they're quite narrow. So I definitely think we're going to be seeing Widow Mines out of the Terran player here, and it's going to, you know, with Zerg players at this skill level, I think, you know, you're going to have to put a little extra effort with your APM into neutralizing those mines without losing half of your army by accident.
That's a good thing to point out, but also to note, we see that you know, the drone scout did get in here and did see the Terran gas, and this is going to prompt a very, you know, good quick reaction to get that early gas for the Zerg, so that way he has the speed. It's identified as a Reaper opening. You know, that's what you're going to be seeing if you spot that gas first from that Terran. And Rhodora responding accordingly. You know, he did go hatch first, and then pull, or gas and then pull, you know, and that's perfectly fine. He should be stopping at about 100 gas to get that speed out, and you know, completely nullify this sort of Reaper harass. We'll just kind of have to see if he comes out with drone kills or not. That's going to be pretty important, trying to keep those drones alive, and you know, especially Ling Micro before that speed is out will kind of determine how effective this Reaper harass is going to be.
Yeah, definitely. And you hearing that the Terran player opened up with a Reaper made me realize that I was not invited to the game. So I'm afraid you're going to have to solo cast this one, Adonis, and I'm here for moral support.
Okay, maybe you should turn into the stream. You may be able to... I don't have a delay on there. You can probably help me a little bit. But we do have these slowlings out on the field, and a little bit of micro coming from those drones. I don't think he lost one yet. If he did, I didn't quite catch it. But there are now 2 Reapers on the field, only 4 lings. He doesn't want to overproduce lings and overreact. These queens are now coming out. He's about to lose that drone. 1 drone goes down, a 2nd drone about to go down, and he needs to kind of get these queens to try and trap these Reapers here, or else they're just going to continue doing damage.
Rhodora trying to save the drones by trying to take an extractor. Very nice micro out of him there.
Yeah, it's like a last-ditch effort. That I usually do that myself when it comes to Hellions. If I, you know, might as well try and save 2 if a bunch of Hellions are gonna get in there and roast them, you know, and build spines and spores and stuff. But he's gonna be hopping out of the base here to try and regen a little bit. In the meantime, we do have that expansion coming down, as we noted earlier, and 2 Hellions on the way. Oh, and a 3rd CC as well. So very harass-heavy style, and that link speed is going to come out and once again nullify the Reaper harass. A lot of queens coming out though. That's generally becoming pretty standard for Zerg players, is to get those queens out, because they also help defend against, you know, Banshees, which we haven't quite seen much of that play yet. But at the highest of levels, I have seen Banshee play catch even the highest tier players off guard. And it also just helps with the creep spread as well. Get that creep out.
Talking about the whole Banshees not being seen, I think like in the next couple days or couple weeks, we're going to see like Banshees are going to start coming back. I remember towards the end of Wings of Liberty, a sort of macro heavy style emphasizing opening Hellion Banshee, and that has just been... It doesn't exist anymore, at least in Heart of the Swarm, but I think with these like fast 3cc plays and these Hellion plays and these Reaper plays, they're going to be figured out, and I think Banshees are going to start coming back, and it's quite exciting to think about.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that, because you know, this Widow Mine drop has been phased out. You know, it's getting figured out how to be handled. Like players are getting better at dealing with those kinds of tactics, and you know, this Hellion stuff has been around for a long time, and you know, there's a point to where just the Reapers as well, that's beginning to get figured out. Like if that gas is scouted, as we've seen, you know, just with proper control, you really won't lose much, and you'll end up with Speed Link, and you know, you'll have Speedlings to help defend against Hellions later on. So you know, I feel like Hellions absolutely will have a shot later on in the future here.
Now, something to note, there is still no 3rd, although I am on a slight stream delay. There is no 3rd yet for Rhodora, and Cheeemistro actually ahead in supply, or even in supply at this point. The 3rd has gone down now, about a 9-minute 3rd. You know, not the greatest timing, but you know, when you're having to deal with Hellion Reaper, it's definitely something that could mess with your multitasking a bit here.
Now these Hellions are going to be trying to cook away at this hatchery. They're not going to get much done, just kind of apply a little bit of pressure. Rhodora kind of keeping his lings at a safe distance. No reason to use them just yet. He does have some transfuses on these queens. He's actually going to get a Hellion. Now, I think that's a little bit of miscontrol from Cheeemistro over here. He shouldn't be losing these Hellions, because that's his main dominant form of map control. And
he's actually just letting his Hellions... He lost 2 Hellions there, I believe. That is not how you want to be controlling these Hellions. You want to be, yeah, you can be attacking the 3rd and whatnot, Reaper Hellion the 3rd, but you know, when you push out again, you want as many Hellions as you can possibly have to deal with the huge amount of lings that the Zerg is obviously going to have to produce to defend against your attack.
And in the meantime, we did see some Widow Mines try and do a little bit of damage at the natural here, but to no avail. The Spore Crawler that was preemptively dropped down early on in the game is finally being paid for. And now we do have this medevac, this reactor swap rather, and to allow double pumping of these medevacs, 2 additional racks going down, and double upgrades are started. So, you know, it's an indication that bio is going to be prominent in this matchup now. Let's see if it's identified yet. Not really. There are 2 barracks spotted. That should be enough, and a 3rd barracks. Okay, so already Rhodora should kind of know what to expect with this bio play here, especially with these 4 Marines out with this Overlord. So nothing to hide here just yet. Now on the opposite end,
a little late from the Terran player, I must say. But then again, when engagements do start happening, it should even out, and these guys should both be 1-1. By the time they're going into big on engagements.
Right, and there's also been no scan from the Terran, and that's kind of a vital thing. There's no indication of layer just yet that the Terran knows about. And he is moving out to take that 3rd, though. Widow Mine actually sneaking by. The one that was originally identified at the natural just crawled away and managed to pick up 8 kills. Ling kills, and finally the Spore Crawler is going to be moved ahead to try and deal with that. But creep spread, look at this creep spread 3-step. It is just all over Rhodora's half of the map.
Yeah, he's definitely emphasizing this creep spread, and it's going to help him a lot, especially against this mine style. Hellions swooping up here, going to get onto that creep, I think, and we do have the Cheeemistro moving out now with medevacs, Hellions, mines, and some Marines here. But once again, there is a lot of creeps, so we'll see how Rhodora deals with this.
Yeah, these queens are probably going to get it. They're taking a lot of damage. But just now, Rhodora is making a bunch of lings, and he's actually going to take probably significant losses at this 3rd unless Rhodora responds very quickly. He just doesn't seem like he has enough lings. He has a few banelings coming into the mix, and mutas coming in to clean up the mess here. I think he'll actually come out of this just fine. He didn't lose as much as I thought he would.
These Marines don't have combat shields, so these mutas, you know, although it looked like Cheeemistro was going to get a good amount of damage in, looks like he started attacking at a crucial inject cycle. You know, having those mutas out and not having those combat shields, I think, is a really important part of why that worked out the way it has. And speaking of combat shields, it still isn't in production for Cheeemistro. We're approaching 1430 here, and combat shields is not started yet. This has to be a mistake.
Yeah, and you know what? That's gonna cost. Banelings are just gonna be so much more efficient if they come into the mix, you know, and which they should. You know, this is a Ling Bane muta composition we got here, and a 4th base going up, so that's gonna allow double pump and upgrades and tech up to tier 3 at the same time, along with this just magnificent creep spread. I think he did lose. No, he still has 2 of his creeps queens, so he can continue that if he wishes, but there are turrets up already, so I think that's going to nullify a majority of the muta harass at the 2nd and the 3rd. Terran's not in too bad of a shape. I just feel like combat shield has just been started. He realized, hey, I'm a little light on my combat shields. Take a note out of Threestep's book, and maybe I should get that going here.
Yeah, combat shields finally started, and these guys have been supply blocked for quite a while now, you know, sort of evening out the game, although I would say Cheeemistro is significantly behind. Combat shield's almost halfway done, except Rhodora's 2-2 is miles ahead of Cheeemistro's, and that's going to be vastly, vastly important. And these banelings getting morphed in, Cheeemistro continuing to approach on the creep, although I am on a delay. I know this engagement is going down right now. Go, Adonis, tell us how it's going.
Well, the Terran engaged on creep with no splash. There was no Widow Mines and no siege tanks. So it went about as you would expect with Ling Bane against straight-up Marines on creep with no combat shield. I mean, that's about all you can say about that engagement.
I just saw it. Engaging on creep like that, with no combat shields, no splash whatsoever. Huge mistake here, and the 3rd of Cheeemistro is being completely shut down here. Every single SCV going down. The mutas could possibly take out the CC, pulling back. Actually, no, they're going to keep going for it. There's no SCVs in this little airfield to repair, and I think the CC is going to go down. This is really big. I don't see Cheeemistro coming back from this if he loses that CC.
Rhodora here gearing up to take the game. He has this massive Lynx making more Banelings, and he's going to connect with these Marines. The last bit of fighting force of Cheeemistro has gone down to these Banelings. Millions of Lynx streaming into the natural here, and reinforcements Hellbats, which is actually a perfect response to this sort of lack of splash composition that he needs. And just look at these Hellbats getting healed by these medevacs and just destroying those Zerglings. And he actually managed to clean it up, but as the popular saying goes, at what cost?
At what cost? Adonis, I could hear the disparity in your voice. Look at these Hellbats being healed by the medevac. That was definitely a very cost-efficient engagement for Cheeemistro, but yes, at what cost? Look at the supply. Rhodora, more than double Cheeemistro's supply. Once Rhodora gathers some of his forces once again and just moves out, he's going to deal the killing blow and take the first game for Team Evolution.
He very well just may, and we have a counter drop, and this is his best bet, to try and do damage all over the map. But these mutas are in position. They're just two flaps away from defending this third. These Marines, these medevacs are going to go down, and just the crippling damage Cheeemistro has received earlier on, he is finally feeling the clench right now of this Zerg force. And, he's trying to remake his third. He's mining out in his main. He does have a few idle SCVs. He needs to get those to working if he just, wants to stand a chance in this game.
And I still think Cheeemistro is stuck on 1-1. If you can confirm that, that'd be great. And, Cheeemistro is going to be mined out here shortly. He is going to be stuck on one mining base. Even with mules, I'm sorry, but at this point, when your opponent is was triple, now double ahead in the supply count, and you're stuck on one base, that's the end of that.
So this fourth is going to go down, and but we do have more Banelings on the way. Lings and Banes should be able to clean this up. Once again, there is no splash. We don't have anything to deal with high numbers of units. We're just streaming out Marines, and just at an upgrade disadvantage as well. He wasn't quite set up to come back from this game, and from here on out, it's just a matter of time. He's not going to be able to support these production buildings. Still got these idle SCVs, and the finishing force for Rhodora is knocking at the Natural's door here. A lot of Marines coming out, and once again, still no splash. We don't have this factory pumping out Widow Mines like we need. Those Hellbats, they would actually help a great deal, but those aren't in production either. It's just the lack of resources. And these Stim Marines, man, no energy in this medevac.
Rhodora says it. Here come the Banelings! Banelings connecting with all the Stim Marines. Oh, they're all going down. GG is called. And Team Evolution takes game number 1 in this clan war between Exiled Gaming. Rhodora doing a great job here. Cheeemistro opening up with that Reaper Hellion harass, but not getting too much done with it. Falling behind in upgrades, and I recall you mentioning earlier on in the game he had no idea about the layer tech. He had no idea about the Spire coming, and I think that is one of the downfalls opening Reaper into a 3cc, because you want to use those command centers, those orbital commands, for the mules and to get your economy back up and catch up with the Zerg player when you open up like that. So being a little too greedy and not getting that scouting information was definitely one of his downfalls this game.
Absolutely, and as we mentioned early on, that those kinds of games, they don't really go into that 5 or 6 base kinds of styles, so you can kind of generally come up with an idea of the kind of tactics your opponent will do, because there's a lot of runaround on that map, so you can kind of assume he's going to go into Ling Bane, and that is kind of like the popular meta. And even if you don't want to burn that scan, you can still kind of go into a game knowing what your Zerg opponent is going to do as a Terran, because just based on the map choice and based on the matchup. Now,
very true.
We're going to be rolling into game 2 here, and we'll bring you back when we're ready. Hold tight.
Can the stream hear us? I guess you have everything muted.
Yeah, they can hear us.
It's gotta be one of the funniest Twitch names I've ever seen. Exile Gaming versus Team Evo Admin.
Alright, we are back. We are moving into game 2. Currently the score right now is Team Evolution 1 to Exile Gaming 0 as of right now. Rhodora moving up from game 1 after demonstrating some decent control with some Mutiling Bane against a Terran. See if he results back to that, fighting another Terran. Exile is going to be sending out Void, and hopefully to dethrone Rhodora on his current streak of 1. What are your thoughts on the last game going into this one here, Threestep?
To be honest, I think we're going to see the exact same playstyle. Akelon wastes or flats. You know, there's again 2 main attack pathways, really good for mines and whatnot. So I do think we're going to be seeing Baneling Muta against a Bio Mine style. Now, the only thing that we're going to have to look out for is how these two guys open exactly. Specifically, the Terran player, is he going to be opening Reapers first, or is he going to go for that CC first, which I'm really excited to see.
And something that I've actually been experimenting with myself, and I feel like Echelon Waste would be a good map to try on, would be Swarm Host against Biomine, because, you know, using free units to set off mines and attack points like that seems like, you know, a no-brainer, right? Now, it would be interesting to see that sort of experimentation go on right here as well. You know, I feel like there's a lot of merit to be had in there. It just needs a lot of refining. And but I've also seen experimentation with Roach Hydra for the Zerg, but this is just a 2 map. I don't think we'll even come close to seeing anything of that sort. The map is just too big. It's hard to cover all the points. Oh.
Don't mean to cut you off here, but we are seeing a proxy Rax that's going to be instantly scouted by Rhodora. I noticed that this SCV was scouting in a slightly odd position. I thought he was going to go for this, and Void is immediately extremely far behind. Now that Rhodora has seen this, we do have the second Rax being constructed back near the natural of Void, but he is just insanely far behind now. This was great pickup by Rhodora.
Yeah, you know, and just the highest caliber of players are the ones that use their first one of their first drones to just go scout and look for those kinds of proxies. Now, and that's just great game sense, man, to be able to do that. And already we see something else fishy going down here.
Another proxy Rax in the middle of the map, going to be scouted again by Rhodora, going for the initial scout on his opponent's base. And you know, Void went for it first time, tried it again, nada. Even more behind now. I do not see Void making a comeback here.
That's not really something you can sort of do. Like, as a Terran, I feel like if you're scouted the first time, the Zerg is going to just have this uneasy feeling about the rest of your play. Like, he's going to know you're going to try something else fishy. He's going to feel like you're going to do Reapers into Hellion, into Banshee, into Widowmine drops, and then later on Hellbat drops. Like, you just kind of can create personas about the Terran based on just how hard they're trying to, you know, you know, let's face it, cheese you. If they're trying really hard to cheese you, you can kind of expect that in the mid to late game.
Very true statement. Well said. We do have the hatchery finished up now. The supplies are going to skyrocket in terms of difference here. Rhodora are going to be pumping out those drones, knowing he's pretty safe right now, seeing that he's denied these Raxes a couple times, and Void is only going to be able to be producing Marines off 1 barracks here. So with some good scouting information, some good map presence, he'll be able to drone up just fine here. But actually making a huge influx of Lings going right for an attack.
And you know, I think Rhodora is trying to capitalize on the fact that the eco of the Terran is going to be hindered. Now, he also took a guess, so whether it's going to be a Baneling bus or speed for security, only the time will tell of how much gas he decides to get. But it just seems like, you know, okay, he identified that Void may be a little cheesy and may attempt to do something, you know, drastic to try and take the game, so he's going to get that early defensive speed should be just extra safe of whatever Void decides he's going to throw at him.
Now, looking at the situation of Void, behind in supply of Rhodora, and basically he's essentially on 4 racks in 1 base. He is all in at this point. Any plans of taking an expansion would actually hurt him, in my opinion. He needs to just gather up some forces, bring everything, including SCVs, and just go. He just needs to go. Any plan to expand is just going to hurt him. Here he goes, pulling those SCVs, like I said, getting ready to just go. Capital G-O. And I think Rhodora is going to be able to stop this in cold blood here, because spines are coming up. We got a couple queens out, and actually, this 1 Ling is going to spot this coming, although the overlords aren't going to see, but this should queue up Rhodora to just make non-stop Zerglings. And here we go, 10 in production.
Yep, absolutely. So with these queens here and the spine, there are 10 Marines here, 14 Zerglings on the way. These injects are about to pop as well, so he should have additional reinforcements, and he should be okay against this. you know, with all these queens, he brought everything to defend, especially with the spine here, going to do so much damage. Even pulling the drones to just be absolutely sure he's not going to have trouble holding this off.
I really like this move. You know, pulling the workers, he's pulled his workers. If I pull mine, I know I'm going to be coming out ahead in this battle, and I like when people just, you know, they secure the win. They do exactly what they can. Doesn't matter if I lose all my workers, I'm a natural. I'm a full base ahead. I can remake them, and I'm going to win this game.
That's absolutely right. And, you know, I don't see that enough from Zerg players. Zerg players are always so skeptical. Even myself, I admit that I just don't want to pull those workers, because workers are like gold to a Zerg, you know. We just love our workers, but, you know, pulling them was a very good choice. And we do have a GG from Void.
Rhodora is going to take game number 2 for Team Evolution against Exile. That brings the score to 2-0. Not too much to say about this game. Void going for a proxy racks, getting scouted twice here, forced to all in. Marines, SCVs, go, go, go. Rhodora shutting it down, easy peasy with that worker pull. And we're just going to be setting up game number 3 here, and we'll let you guys know when we're back.
Alright, we are back. Moving on to Game 3. Once again, Rhodora taking a relatively quick win from Game 2, Terran. And in retaliation, Exile sending out HellHound, another Terran. It's a team composed primarily of Terrans on, once again, Neoplanet S. So we can only assume what Rhodora is going to be going for this game. And may the best of luck go out to both of these players here.
This is what's going through my head if I'm Rhodora. I'm going against my third Terran, and they're picking generally a 2-base map. So I'm going to be scouting heavily, and I'm going to be prepared for some sort of cheese, which I've dealt with before, handily. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm thinking that you know, Rhodora on the last game, it was a relatively longer map than Neoplanet, so it made sense to do a drone scout. That's exactly what he was doing, and he got lucky enough to see the traveling worker, and the worker never arrived at his second overlord, so he went looking for it, and he happened to find it, and after he thwarted that attack, he moved on to scout the base and came across another proxy at the same time as his first initial overlord scouted the even third proxy at the natural of the Terran. So just to see that different scouting pattern, oh, he's actually going to be going for a drone scout this time as well, and you know, scouting for proxies at the same time.
Wow, playing very cautiously, scouting his third, scouting everything just to make sure. But HellHound actually going with just a standard 1-Rax. Will it be getting a gas? We should be seeing it by 14 supply here. If not, we do know that he's most likely going to be going for a gasless expansion here. And the Overlord is slowly getting on its way into that sick scouting position on the high ground, and this drone is going to pop right up in here, and Rhodora is going to take in fire, knowing that nothing crazy is on its.
Yeah, he's going to be checking these gases first. He's going to be, okay, no Reaper expand, nothing like that. So he should be feeling pretty good, you know, there's no... He doesn't see anything yet. This Overlord, after it came out of the egg, just did kind of float over here and look for anything behind, any sort of bunkers. So playing super, super safe. Eventually, you know, Zerg players like to get that Overlord around the third of the Terran. And as you see, it is queued up there, actually. So it's going now. He feels safe. There's nothing crazy coming on. And he can kind of already assume that the Terran's going to be doing 1-Rax expand. We'll just have to see where the Terran decides he wants to branch out. Where is he going to start deviating from the original build to kind of, you know, or is he going to follow it up very standard?
Yeah, I would really like to see Banshees, but I doubt we're going to see that. Give it some more time to evolve. Rhodora has begun mining his gas. Is he going to pull out just to get enough for speed, or is he going to continue mining here? We do have the spawning pool getting very close to finish up here, and the expansion for HellHound just about halfway done here, grabbing double gas as well.
Oh. Like you mentioned, he's just getting that speed, exactly stepping at 100 to get his defenses ready now. Yeah, this seems like it's becoming pretty standard for Rhodora. We're starting to be able to see a pattern in his play. He's not really responding anything. He didn't see anything too much. Now, what I would actually prefer to see would be him going up to, you know, maybe 40 drones and taking a third upon seeing that 1-Rax expand. And we know he's not going to be trying to bust, so, you know, I'm a little lost as to where, you know, his direction is going. But this Terran is setting up.
We should see that third being put down very shortly here. He pulled out of gas. He, like you said, he knows the Terran went for a fairly fast expansion. But these Zerglings are going to poke in here. Trying not to lose these guys, hopefully. You're going to see that bunker. And I did notice that HellHound is using this SCV to see if Rhodora is going to take his third or not. So Rhodora could be going for a later third, could be going for some mind games. We'll just have to wait and see.
And as we do say that, a bunch of Lings pop, and they're going to the main. He's hiding them for some reason. He's not going for that third yet. This is a popular third timing. It shouldn't be delayed too much because staying on even bases with the Terran is just an underpowered Zerg at that moment of time. And we do have these Hellions coming out.
Is this SCV though? Is this SCV going to see these Lings? No, speed is just kicked in, and these Lings are going to zoom right by that scouting SCV. HellHound has absolutely no idea what's coming. You know, there's a lot of links here, but where's the Baneling Nest? Where's the Roach Warren? Like, there is no third, but oh, going right in for the full bunkers round. This is a devastating moment as a Terran player. More links coming down, gonna get heavily supply blocked here, taking out these depots, taking out these Marines, SCVs, Mules, Hellions going down, forcing a lift on the natural. Oh my god, this is so much damage coming down here from Rhodora. I don't know if HellHound could actually come back from this.
It kind of comes down to that Hellion control, really, or the defense of the front door. Because, if we're looking at the Harvesters, just now is the Zerg kind of getting over the, or pulling ahead of the Terran, and we have a Marauder. Not the best choice. He was kind of gearing up for some sort of Roach play, but we're not going to be seeing any of it. These Hellions, once they pop, that front door is going to be secure, but, the Zerg doesn't have that substantial of a lead. Still 28 to 30 Harvesters. On top of the meal, that's relatively even. This natural is going to get retaken by the Terran, and the Terran also sees that this third isn't quite up. So it's kind of a weird spot. I would like to say they're on even terms, but considering the damage that the Terran took, was that enough to even it?
I think not, because the Terran doesn't have a third CC. He's basically, we're at 8:30 in the game. It's looking like 5 minutes for the Terran player, because he's just now getting his expansion established. And the Zerg player did take a later third, but it has completed, and just there's 6 drones being produced. We have the upgrades going down. Stim almost done, but Rhodora is definitely in a good position, because look, the third CC is going down, and double NG Bay. This signifies that HellHound isn't going to try and come back with a crazy push. He's going to try and catch up macro style. He wants to go late game.
Absolutely, especially with that third coming up. And no sort of production coming out of this starport just yet. And as you did mention, the double upgrades. There's not a whole lot of production here. He's really kind of crippled an economy, supply blocked even, and the supplies are beginning to get lopsided, and that's little unnatural. Good positioning on that Spore here to help deny this drop, and good map
very
awareness.
Good positioning. Medevac going to drop here on this third. Just some Hellions though, just going to tickle this hatchery. No workers to lose, but these Speedlings are going to get right in here, and there's no lift. There's a lift. Almost losing all of those Hellions would have been devastating, considering how far behind HellHound is. Let's take a look at the unit counting station. 51 drones to 30 SCVs. We got some more larvae starting to stockpile here, and the first few Widow Mines have popped, and more continuing to be produced. Players on relatively even upgrade timings as well, but the Spire and Baneling Nest have just finished. Are we going to see Rhodora go for like a 3-base timing attack here with 1-1?
That's certainly a possibility, but he has to be aware by now. It's a good timing. He doesn't see any more Hellions on the field. You can only assume there's one thing that the factory is going to be doing. I don't think he got that scout in just yet, but he did see that third. So whatever is going on in the Terran base, he can be sure that it's not going to be too much. There's not going to be a move out coming on to attack him. He's not very threatened. He just has to stay on top of denying the harassment. And I know that he feels like he's in a good shape right now. He can even drone up if he wanted to. It's just a matter of what he feels like doing. Oh, here's the drone, so I think that answers that.
Barracks just finishing up now for HellHound, and just starting the add-ons now, so Rhodora definitely in a safe position. So safe, he's investing in upgrades and Mutalisks before even, thinking about getting some Banelings out for defense, although Baneling speed is on the way. Flyer attack's almost halfway done here, so he's just playing this very passively. He knows he's ahead. One of the general rule of thumb is if you're ahead, let's get more ahead. And these Mutalisks going to swap in here. See that this third is trying to be established, going to deny that, get some damage taken in. And these Widow Mines and this Marauder, not the greatest against Mutalisks, but these Widow Mines going to try and secure this third here.
Oh, that one Ling absorbed the shot, the very viable shot needed of that Widow Mine, and actually leading with one Mutalisk as well.
Wow, he's going to get the CC.
Yeah, that's not the kind of damage the Terran can take.
Now HellHound is just extremely far behind. To be honest, I would have kept mentioning the fact that the CC is under attack, but you know, don't you think he would have floated it back to his inside his main to be repaired?
Yeah, I think he was trying to use those Widow Mines to maybe defend and take out at least, you know, 2 or 3 Mutalisks to try and thin out the numbers for these Marines to come mop up. But man, it's just the control with that Mutalisk and the unlucky connection with that one Zergling that was there. Just really, it was a very slippy slope when trying to defend that command center with just 2 Widow Mines.
Yeah, 2 Widow Mines, even if they get a nice hit off on a, you know, as clumped as possible ball of Mutalisks, it's only going to kill 2 of them, and the Mutalisks are going to regenerate. Not sure if HellHound realized that or not, because he did end up losing the CC, but he is going for a push. He's got to get something done now. Look at the supply, about 60 to 80 Rhodora ahead in supply right now. Tons of Banelings being morphed in, actually, with 2-2 gonna finishing up here shortly, and it's gonna hit way before the Terran's 2-2. So this is not gonna be very nice here for HellHound.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of Zerglings and Banelings. And unless there's some sort of magical connections that these Widow Mines are going to make, he has to be very careful about engaging into this. This can go either really one-sided or come out even at the end. But, you know, I don't see the Terran player doing substantial damage with this, but I don't see him, you know, it's going to go one of 2 ways. It's very hard to say. There are observers in this army.
Some Widow Mines. Rhodora trying to bait some Widow Mines here, but there are a few in the back that haven't been detonated yet. But this army is getting very stiff with only 2 medevacs. Again, there is still a single Widow Mine. Oh my god, it isn't going off. He's actually nice neutralizing on that Widow Mine there. Rhodora just miles ahead right now.
Absolutely. We finally have a 3rd command center coming out for the Terran. He's trying to establish, and that's the perfect way to do it, is to attack and expand. That's precisely how the Terran's supposed to do it. But we also have this 4th coming over for the Zerg. And on top of that, we have Hive Tech, we have Adrenal Glands, we have +3 melee attack for these Zerglings, and that is just a substantial lead, especially, you know, with these Mutalisks coming out on the field in this Hive. We have we also have this Ultralisk Cavern on the way, and now against Biomine, that's about as good as it gets, using Ultralisk to tank the damage of those mines, and especially with upgrade advantage, man. HellHound is not going to have the economy to be pumping out Marauders off of just 2 base, especially after the 3rd base keeps getting denied. He's trying to protect it, but these Widow Mines are just getting picked off as they're trying to make their way. Very tough situation.
Now trying to grab a 3rd and 4th at the same time here in the main. Mutalisk getting picked off slightly, experiencing some lag issue right there. You know, but you know, it didn't lose very many Mutalisks, but forced an entire stim out of half of an army. And these medevacs, 1, low medevac count, 2, medevacs have almost no energy here. And you know, we're low on mine count. Like you said, 3-3 Ultralisks, and there is absolutely no economy to keep producing Marauders to counteract this. He doesn't even have the production to keep up with Zerg at this point.
Right. Yeah, and he's doing the right thing to try and, you know, double expand, as you said, with that 4th coming along as well, and to try and get these up and running as fast as possible against a 4-base Zerg. But the problem with this is if you move out against such a mobile army, and one especially that counters your composition very well, you know, infestors are even being included. Those will even reveal mines on top of rooting down your remaining forces, and it's, you know, this is just I want to say unwinnable odds, but HellHound is actually fighting pretty formidably from the disadvantage
with the awesome Ultralisk skin here. I believe they're going to wait for 3-3, and they are maxed, and when you are maxed, you want to do something with your army. You don't want to let those army values even up here. And mines being unburrowed, both players getting ready to move forward. Little do they know they're going to run right into the faces of each other here. Mines aren't burrowed. Rhodora still playing a little cautiously here, keeping the Mutalisks in the front. Mutalisks are actually very expendable at this point in the game. And infestors going down to try and bait some of these mines. Great neutralizing of those mines there.
Absolutely. The creativity is shining here. Now, you know, there's no mines burrowed. He needs to get these mines burrowed because this force is just able to run through and trample, and a beautiful connection, destroying like 80 lings, maybe not that much, but 3 mines absolutely paying for themselves, and enough to scare Rhodora away and allow HellHound to buy time to rekindle his forces, regroup, and you know, establish his foothold once again at the center of the map. And you know, it wasn't enough to bring him back, but it's enough to let up the pressure to give him more time to think and figure out what he needs to do to come back in this game.
Rhodora going in for a flank with Ultralisk. Actually, looks like it was a mistake as he's trying to bring his forces back together. Ultralisk doing a good job pulling the army away. You know, with that previous engagement, a lot of the lings did die here, and it did scare Rhodora, and he could have taken out the entire army, in my opinion, but he doesn't care anymore. He is almost maxed. He can continue being maxed, and he's just going to go for the win here. Banelings, Lings, Ultras, Infestors, Mutalisks, all of them going right into the last of HellHound's army. HellHound dropping in supply, almost 100 supply behind his opponent at this point. HellHound forced to lift up into the main. All these hurt Marines, these Mutalisks are just cleaning them right up.
Yeah, that stim was just so painful to go through all those. GG, well played from HellHound, and Rhodora takes game number 3.
This is going to bring the score to 3-0 in favor of Team Evolution against Exiled. And, you know, Rhodora is on an absolute tear right now, showing that he is not one to be messed with when it comes to TVZ. Macro games, he's got it. Cheesy plays, he's got it. He's just been shutting everything down here. Great game so far. And we're going to get the next game ready, and we'll see you guys when we're right back. Bye. We'll see you guys soon.
We're back. Did you go Threestep?
Did I go?
Did the match launch?
The match has launched, but Blank has left the game apparently.
Yeah, I'm blank.
You're blank?
Yeah. A re.
I can't pause.
Yeah, we got a re.
Okay, I left the game. I told the other observers that we need to re. Unless I was the only observer.
Yeah, you were.
These guys are on busy. Oh, great. Don't we love that busy function?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Yeah. I told you not to send him in first, Steve. Told ya. They're still in their game. They are playing this out. Oh my god. Oh no. This is not good.
Would you mind loading
Alright, well, I believe we're back. We had technical difficulty. We did manage to get dropped, or I got dropped, and I couldn't obs, and Threestep dropped out himself, and the match continued to go on. As we can see here, Adonis has left the game. We're going to hide this. Of course, it's probably going to be the longest game here. But, this is going to be game 4. This was match point for Team Evolution if Rhodora managed to take the gold here. As we have Rhodora spawning in the bottom right, TOSSFIGHTING spawning in the bottom, or in the top left. As the blue Terran.
You need to set the overall.
Yeah, I clicked it. It was just a delay when I click it.
Okay. So yeah, we actually have no idea how the game went. So this is a replay, but we have not revealed the game length. We have not revealed the game winner, nor do we actually know those facts. So yeah, it's pretty much like it was a live game. It's a live replay here. We're doing it like MLG. And so we do have Rhodora once again going for the drone scout here, and TOSSFIGHTING, the Terran player, is going to be going for a Rax first, and we'll be seeing if he'll be grabbing gas shortly.
And you know, same basic scouting pattern Rhodora's using last time. Stopping by that watchtower, checking around for proxies. Overlord taking the wide way around, going to the natural, not really going straight through the middle. And this is going to be going for a 15 hatch as well. So, pretty standard from what we've been seeing out of him all day today. TOSSFIGHTING, no gas, working on a 1 Rax expand. And so, very basic openers from both these players. But I gotta say, man, TOSSFIGHTING has a lot of pressure. He has to play, you know, to the best of his abilities. And he has, you know, a lot of pressure is riding on being the guy that, you know, at least doesn't let it be an all kill. Like, it's either he has to all kill or be all killed, and that's a lot of pressure riding on you going into a game like this.
I don't think we emphasize that this is match point. The score is 3-0, and this is a best of 7. And if you guys can do the math, first team to get to 4 wins is going to take this victory. And very nice, Rhodora actually going to save that drone here, taking that gas. This is going to be very annoying because when you're going for a 1 Rax expand, you're going to need to take both gases in the main because your CC at the natural isn't going to be done compared to a CC first. So taking this gas is actually a very big deal here, but it is going to be forced to cancel, and he saves the drone going for round 2 here.
And this is a neat tactic for Zerg to do because it shows you where the Marines are. You can feel that when you're going 15 hatch, you know he's not going to be able to do a bunker rush off of his 1 Rax expand or anything threatening like that because your pull's a little later, and you can just kind of see his Marines. You know they're at home, and you know, it just gives you that extra sense of comfort. And also on top of that, it does delay that gas, as you can see. Not too much, but you know, enough to kind of throw a little wrench in Terran's build order here.
We do have the bunker up for TOSSFIGHTING, as well as taking out the rocks, and we do have the first 4 lings on the map here for Rhodora. Going to get some scouting information, going to try and get some map control before these hellings pop out. And look at this, Adonis, we have a roach warren here. It looks like we're going to be seeing a 2 base roach attack here out of Rhodora.
Yeah, and you know, he does seem to favor those sort of 2 base, slightly risky, but you know, if I do damage, I'm in very good shape kind of plays. Yeah, I think that's the technical term for those kinds of plays. Running off of 1 gas, and he's not getting speed. So, and this is actually very crucial. And I don't know if there was a scout SCV in here to kind of count how much gas was going, but a telltale sign is just, you know, no speed. You can see kind of when it's researching. The roaches are on the way. They have popped. And you know, at the front door, this wall is not going to be up in time. 1 SCV doing a depot at a time.
The scan has just gone down for TOSSFIGHTING. Scans that roach warren. Very clutch scan. Instant reaction, putting down the bunker and his main, already swapping the buildings, getting to starport. He knows that he's going to need a Banshee, but I doubt it would be out in time for this. Roaches are already on the way, almost at the natural here. Are these SCVs going to be pulled for this bunker? Is he just going to sacrifice the natural and just, you know, jump up into the main and defend there?
You know, he is kind of working towards that Banshee, but, you know, as you said, it did not come out in time. He is just going to, you know, try and minimize his losses, go home, sacrifice these 2 supply depots, bunker up in his natural, and he does have these Widow Mines out, so, you know, I think, for the most part, he should be relatively okay. These Widow Mines will be nullified a little bit, but as long as he can kind of keep him out of the front door, he should be in good shape to hold this off. He needs to get some repairs on this bunker, though.
We do have a Marauder here and 5 Marines. This should be dealt with quite easily. Gonna force some delayed building time on that 3rd command center. Nothing too bad. You know, this Roach pressure should have done a little more, I think. It's sort of a dead investment because Toss Fighting responded brilliantly. You know, I'm not going to invest in defenses at my natural, which he will clearly break. I have no problem lifting my CC into my main and saving every single SCV there. You know, it was extremely cost inefficient for Rhodora, and I think Toss Fighting is miles ahead, as, you know, he has a 2nd orbital, he's building Banshees, he's starting Stim, and most importantly, double NG Bay with a 3rd, almost 2/3 done.
Absolutely. He has a pretty good lead, about 300 resource lead here, and he is working towards getting that 3rd orbital command up. But Zerg is also kind of securing his. He did drone up really heavily behind that attack. And, you know, he is going for layer tech, working on double upgrades really soon. And Spore Crawler's going up because he did scout that tech lab. And here's these Banshees. Rhodora scouted the tech lab on the starport and realized, you know, there's only one thing. It's either going to be Ravens or it's going to be, you know, Banshees. And Ravens is a little early, so, you know, whichever the case, Rhodora's ready for it. These double upgrades are on the way, signifying he's going to be transitioning into a Muta Ling heavy style as well, similar to his last games. Baneling Nest on the way, 3rd established, and rolling into a macro game from here.
3rd actually being morphed into a planetary. Toss Fighting might be feeling a little behind in this circumstance, which he's really not. These guys are on even playing fields, but, you know, when you are roach rushed and you feel like you had to lift, it's quite normal to feel more behind than you actually are. Additional barracks going down here. These guys 1-1s are going to be lining up exactly with each other, and I can pretty much guarantee that we aren't going to be seeing either of these guys doing any sort of attacks, just trying to get their bases going and their macro going.
Oh, slight lag on Rhodora here. I'm sure this is just in the replay. Let's get this guy out of here. Security! But, you know, these Overlords are in position. They need to be scouting here real soon to kind of see where he's going. There's a lot of Widow Mines on the field. I don't think there's been Hellions revealed just yet. It's hard to say. But I don't think Rhodora quite knows what he's going to be fighting. I don't know if he scouted early on. What is going on? With that initial Roach attack, I don't quite remember how much he saw. But, oh man.
He saw it early enough to know that he needed Widow Mines first instead of Hellions. I think we're at the 1040 mark. I don't think we're going to be seeing any Hellions built. The time has passed for them, and that was because of the Roach aggression. He's just going to continue mining up, get this armory done, not delay his 2-2, and go out for a big 1-1 stim combat push.
Okay. I've maintained host privileges. Now, this Banshee is coming around here to try and pick at the 3rd, and yeah, he can actually scout and see that there's no drones here. There's no mining going on at this base. No real sense into trying
to off a queen
pick
as well.
It off. Yeah, and you know, there are turrets up in each of the bases of the Terran, so he's even ready for Mulus. Did he drop a scan? I didn't see if he did. No, he didn't just yet. He's not aware that layer is up. And I'm kind of looking for what layer tech he's going to go for here. He hasn't quite revealed anything just yet. But
Baneling speed on the way. Actually, Overlord speed has just completed here. I think we're going to be seeing some 1-1 Ling drops here, possibly with some Banelings. You know, a single turret in each mineral line good like blind defense against Mutalisk when you think you're behind, but you know, we have 32 Lings of Production Adonis. I don't think one turret in each mineral line is going to be enough for a full supply of Baneling drops.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just to do Baneling drops though, he just needs to get the ventral sacks. I think he's forgetting about it.
True.
But maybe the overlords are supposed to absorb Widow Mines.
That's very true. Oh, we're going to be seeing a huge bust here out of Rhodora. I'm very excited. Whenever I think of a 3-base bust where your drones there are 0 drones at the 3rd, I just think of life. I just think of life. I love how he plays. And yeah, these overlords are actually going to be used to bait mines. Very smart play out of Rhodora. Oh, a couple Banelings there.
He's getting a little ahead of himself. He needs to lead with these overlords like intended. And this needs to do damage. He's easily 20 harvesters and heavy econ behind. We have tanks in the mix as well. A more surefire way of doing damage. Splash damage. Leading with the Marauder. And these Banes.
TOSSFIGHT with a great split. Minimizing damage a lot more than I thought he would.
And these Zerglings are going to come in and try and mop up some of this natural. There are a lot of Zerglings here, and this force is weak from Stin. There are no medevacs. These Speedlings are actually going to do significant damage to this army force, and maybe even these SCVs, depending on this Widow Mine. Now they're going to run out of range. Siege tank trying to siege up, but it's too close for comfort. And I don't know if that's the damage that Rhodora needed to do to make this attack worthwhile.
Rhodora is extremely far behind. TOSSFIGHTING is actually ahead in supply by over 20. He has a 3rd base saturated. Let's take a look at the unit counting station. 52 drones to 64 SCVs. This is not the way worker count should look in this matchup. Rhodora miles behind right now. If we take a look at the production tab, look at the difference in these guys' upgrades. We have +1 siege weapons almost finished here for TOSSFIGHTING, as well as 2-2 almost done. For Rhodora, his 2-2 isn't even close to being halfway done.
Yeah, and that's the price you pay when you decide you want to do early aggression, and it doesn't quite pay for it. He needed to kill easy, 10 to 15, maybe even 20 SCVs to make his upgrade deficiency worth it. But he's going to continue to the best of his abilities right here. Going to continue his creep spread, take a 4th, and try and come back from this economic disadvantage that he has. We also have this armory up, so 3-3s right around the corner for our Terran player here, and he's establishing quite a good composition. He has a mix of siege tanks. He's working with Widow Mines, and a lot of this army is very capable of dealing with Mutaling Bane. But
definitely.
Or
we only have 2
rather.
medevacs on the field though at the 16:30 marker, so this might force TOSSFIGHTING to sort of sit back, get a bigger medevac count, maybe let Rhodora's upgrades get on even grounds here. But no, TOSSFIGHTING looking like he's getting ready to move out here.
And that he is. He's stepping forward onto the field. It's not going to be seen just yet. There is not too much map vision here. He's not going to see him until he's on the creep, planting his Widow Mine, sieging up his tanks. And he doesn't have any Banes in production just yet. And, this Terran's knocking on his front door. He hit the creep. And that's also another good thing about creep spread. Rhodora has very good creep spread, and it's a very good habit that he's gotten into. And what it does is it slows down pushes like this. It gives him plenty of time to make his Banelings in the back, and it just buys that much more time for the very valuable Infestor energy to build up. And it just gives you a lot of critical time, and that's why I think it's a very solid creep spread is very important in ZVP.
2 tanks here, TOSSFIGHTING ahead, 50 by about 50 in supply here. Here comes a swarm, Lings, Banelings, Infestors. Infestors not really using really good fungals here, actually getting caught, but a couple of them going down to the benches. But oh my God, Rhodora is going to clean everything up here, taking out all the tanks, all the bio, going to slowly pick off reinforcements here. And you know what? Rhodora making infested Terrans still look very viable, even with the nerf to upgrades.
That engagement actually came out pretty even. No one really won in that one. They both lost. It's coming down to be
but the thing is,
TOSSFIGHTING
is able to reinforce a lot better than Rhodora, I think. We just have a non-stop Terran march. down Akalon flats here. Infestors and Banelings and Zerglings are going to hold this off for now, but Toss Fighting slowly starting to establish another siege position.
And the economies are running about even. 2-2 for both of these players. 3-3 is about to finish for the Terran, and that's going to be a significant advantage when fighting with these high DPS units like this.
Key thing to note here, the tanks have been lifted, so Toss Fighting couldn't, go head on into that engagement there. Rhodora slowly buying time here. Spine crawlers being thrown down at the 3rd/4th here. Drones getting saturated. But here come the Terran forces with only one tank, though. No Widow Mines. How is Rhodora going to respond? I think this is going to be a very bad angle for him to engage on. Lings coming in for a surround. Spine crawlers getting picked off instantly, and the Banelings getting some great connections here.
And on the way, we do have Ultralisk as well, and we saw the preemptive move into Marauders on top of taking a 4th. So, Toss Fighting is doing a very good job of keeping up with his macro. He is transitioning before the Ultras are even available, so, and they're also going to be tanking Baneling hits as well. So he's doing a good job at managing his composition. I would like to see some more Marauders on the way, which they are just that. And, he's keeping up the pressure. He's trying to make it to where Rhodora doesn't get too comfortable. And Rhodora needs to take his 5th base, which is, what is happening just now. So Ultra's on the field. Still 2-2. Upgrade is not on the way yet. Carapace should be finishing here within the next 20 seconds, and he'll be just fine. He'll be in an okay position. No Widow Mines, just Siege Tank, Marine, Marauder. And, I think this composition's countered Threestep.
Yep, and you know what? Here we go. Actually, Rhodora saying, you know what? I'm not going to engage in that just yet. You're going to wait for my upgrades. And for the first time in a while, Rhodora is slightly ahead in supply. And the longer this game goes, these guys are going to both reach max, and they're both going to reach a max to upgrades. And I think Rhodora is going to start to pull back ahead. All these Ultralisks need to take down these tanks. Lings. But these siege tanks from the back actually forcing Rhodora to not engage. Ultras and Infestors alone, not too great against Bio with tanks. You're going to need some Ling support.
We had a drop in the main base, just a single medevac, and they almost took out the Ultra Cavern. That would have been a great big help. It wouldn't have slowed them down too much, but it certainly wouldn't have been a bad pickup. And I think Toss Fighting is sort of losing steam here. He is establishing his 4th. It's a planetary fortress, so it's defended. No turrets because, there's nothing that can really threaten except for bird infestors, and there's been no sign of that just yet. And, it seems like Toss Fighting is moving for a sort of last-ditch effort here. He's like, I can't really break this. I'm not really set up for the comp, so I need to get some damage done. Oh!
Picking off a full supply medevac. That hurt.
2 medevacs. Oh, man.
Meanwhile, at the 4th of Toss Fighting, Rhodora forced to go in on a full frontal assault. Gonna completely annihilate this 4th base, taking down all the SCVs with it. Losing a lot of Banelings for that, though. Getting a free Thor, that's pretty big. But these Widow Mines getting into position. These Infestors are quite vulnerable, but Widow Mines not targeting them. So many Ultralisks here. Infested Terrans going down all over the place.
Yeah, and I feel like this natural is lost. He's not going to be able to hold this main base. There's just too much here, and the reinforcement capability of the Terran is just lackluster at this point, especially when they're in your production line. The drop at the main of Rhodora has been cleaned up. GG has been called by Toss Fighting, and Rhodora moves on to take the entire series in an all-kill format from Exile Gaming. Oh, man.
That was a great game, and towards the very end when the Terran player was slowly starting to siege up on the 3rd and 4th of Rhodora, I was saying, Rhodora, for the first time in a while, he's ahead in supply, and he's been behind in general this entire game, but the more that time is bought, Rhodora is going to catch up on upgrades, and these guys are even on upgrades, even on army supply. All it takes is one excellent engagement from either or player. This time it happened to be from Rhodora, and he took the game.
Solid play from both those players, I'd like to add. And just the transition to Thors to add that extra DPS, I think it would have really complemented just the composition of the army. Just have one of everything, throwing a Raven in there as well. But he lost too much of his army at that point to where, he shouldn't have tried to transition into that, and You know, ultimately, I felt like they would have been a very good decision against Ultralisk. You know, Siege Tank, Widowmine, Marauder, and Thor, because when those Ultras hit the field, Biomine or Biotank even just doesn't seem to cut it in TVZ. But all in all, that's our Clan Wars, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few shout-outs to end the night here. We got follow us on Twitter at Team Evolution 2013. Follow my Twitch here for future Clan Wars and things of that nature. Every now and then I'll be a ladder hero. Visit our website, www.teamevo.engine.com. And I would like to thank Exile Gaming. A huge shout out to those guys. They're a great spirit, great team. And hopefully we could do Clan Wars with them in the future. This has been very exciting and very fun. So, Threestep, you got anything?
I think that's about it, man. Those guys, you gave them their shoutouts. Definitely a clan that I want to have more Clan Wars with. I definitely enjoyed casting with you, so shout out to you. Shout out to my Twitch channel, SoulStarcraft.tv. It's my new Twitch channel. Go over there, give it a follow. I'll be streaming in a little bit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed everything, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.